Hello, everyone. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to play for YouTube Live, and you should see the results in a few hours as of this recording. I'm also aware that my Quake 3 gameplay sucks, but it was as good a choice for B-roll as anything else. Anyway, on to the topic of this video. There was a YouTube user by the name of Skittensays. Go check her out, by the way, she's awesome. Who had a short pop-up on my feed all of a sudden. Mind you, I don't really like doom scrolling, but the YouTube front page is the YouTube front page. I'll link the short in question in the description. But the short of it is that she's been getting hounded by Taylor Swift content on her algorithm here and would like to not see it. Fair enough. I mainly watch gaming and VTuber videos, and YouTube still tries to shove politics down my throat every now and again. So I empathize with her about this ridiculous website trying to trap people into a rage cycle with unwanted content. However, I was troubled by something she said in the short. She called Taylor Swift a Nazi Barbie, and said that she was pivoting towards white supremacists. I had asked a question in the comments section about the whole Nazi thing because, as you know, the term has been grossly misused in the public discourse. Skitten's reply got me thinking. In it, she said that she wasn't in the mood for a conversation about it. Again, fair. And that there was plenty of discourse about how Taylor Swift, in her words, contributes and upholds white supremacy. She also said that the Nazi Barbie thing was stating that Swift was a Barbie doll standard that white supremacists like to uphold, and she does nothing to distance herself from racist fans. Now, if this were a comment in isolation, I would have not thought about it. However, we are just off the back of the ridiculous wave of Sydney Sweeney hatred over her American Eagle ad, which can be interpreted as something racial if you're suitably brain-rotted by constant exposure to politics on social media, is little more than banal advertisement. Now, this is, of course, combined with the fact that Taylor Swift has been called a Nazi Barbie by detractors for a decade, if not more. Now, I want to be crystal clear here. I do not believe Skitten is some hyper-politicized lunatic. The short she posted was simply a catalyst that got me thinking. Honestly, thinking is the root cause of many of my problems, but here we are. There's been a push to demonize white people as a whole over the past decade or so, which seems to have reached peak acceptability. This is despite how this attitude has made it easier for charlatans like Donald Trump to exploit the anger and resentment of white people who, by and large, are not racist and simply are tired of being painted as such. Now let's go back to Taylor Swift, shall we? She's been called Nazi Barbie for a decade or so, as I previously mentioned. Why? Because she's a thin, white, blonde girl with blue eyes, somewhat attractive. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I know that the United States has more than a few pretty blondes with blue eyes. Are they all to be labeled as such? I don't think making negative assumptions based on immutable characteristics is a good road for our nation to go. It's certainly not helped us in the past, but that could just be me. Then we have to talk about the whole white supremacy thing. Now we have to talk about the white supremacy thing. I've yet to find anything credible that suggests Taylor Swift is a white supremacist or holds any sympathy toward those views. Now, feel free to correct me in the comments, of course, as long as you're bringing citations. But even by the most ridiculous, brain-rotted, partisan viewpoint, the only thing I can really see that could even remotely connect her to white supremacy is her feud with Kanye. And anybody who's listening to this, who's been connected to the broader media for more than 5 minutes, knows who the Nazi is between the two of them. Hint, it's not the white girl. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure where the white supremacist accusations have come from. If anything, Swift is the typical pop star. Not entirely meaningful, more than a bit corporate and completely removed from reality. I'm not sure I can say she's towing any lines anywhere. There doesn't seem to be any record of her displaying hostility towards minorities, and she seems to admire several black artists. Now, I suppose the question that must be asked is whether sentiments like this are about any real slights that some may have seen that I've missed. Again, correct me in the comments. Or if the implication is that white people must atone for the sins of their ancestors. If the latter, I don't think that's entirely fair. Each person will have their own sins to atone for in their lives, make their own mistakes, and trip up on their own. But assuming all white people to have white supremacist views until they prove otherwise is not only counterproductive, but bigoted in its own way. An eye for an eye only serves to blind the world. I must also express concern at the sentiment that she, or indeed any celebrity, should be responsible for their fans absent any prodding from them. This isn't a Hasanabi or Nick Fuentes situation where the personality is fanning the flames or glorifying horrific ideologies to their audience. This is a pop singer who keeps so much of a distance from the public that her private jet is an environmental issue. Are we all to be strung up for the views that our viewers have? To what point does a person who simply performs have to take responsibility for the ranting and raving of lunatics? Shit, I have 58 subs at the time of writing, and I have no control over them. God only knows what they're doing or watching when not looking at the content here. How many millions of people are following everything, say, Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian does? Absent any particularly hateful rhetoric, how much responsibility can be assigned to a celebrity? We shouldn't be so quick, I feel, to push anyone on such a pedestal, or to assume that they are in on something horrific simply because they stay in their own lane. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling, and I'm sure you're tired of watching this F-tier Quake 3 gameplay. So tell me what you think. Comments are open. As to my particular thoughts on Taylor Swift, I fully expect that the next time she pops up on my radar will be when she inevitably breaks up with Travis Kelce, which I think we all know she will. In the meantime, live your own lives, and as always, God bless you.